bailable offence. So I'm very clear in my mind that if these proposals go through, India will very quickly by next year catapult to becoming the cybercrime capital of the world, because there be added legislative incentive to come and do cybercrime from within India. Because even if you get caught, you'll be up on bail. And mind you, the record of India of 3 cybercrime convictions will only give you an idea how comfortable it will be go ahead to do any kind of cybercrime activities. So I think that's a problem. I think the government has not applied its mind, and that's where the problem is going to really compound for corporate India. Your next question was, well, how many cases have been registered? No figures. Today, the figures don't speak the true value. Why? Because in India, if you are a police officer, do you want to register a cybercrime case? No, is the answer. Why no? Anyone?
They themselves might not know what is that.
Absolutely, they themselves will not know how to go about it. Or even if they know they're not confident, will they be able to catch the criminal? So, this is 2008. As early as 2005, 3 years back, we were relatively more advanced. A prominent police station in Delhi picked up 15, 16 floppies on a raid which contained absolute pornographic content. And the client was absolutely in panic mode when he came to me, saying that I'm absolutely jammed and rogered because it has some bad content. So we say, hold on, this has to be produced in the court. Let's see when it comes up in production. When it was produced in the court, I told my client, please go ahead and have a party. Why? Because these 16 floppies had been put into the floppies and had been quietly nuttied and attached to the main case file to ensure that they don't get lost. So once the tagging of the magnetic field took place, you could understand what kind of stuff would have been made. This is 2005. So if you destroy your evidence, we have had cases where they go ahead and seize the hard disks and they put it in the Malkhana. Malkhana is a dusty place, full of all kinds of cobwebs and stuff. They don't even cover it with the polythene. So the next time they want to produce it in a court and try to make it run, it never runs. I had this case, case from Bombay. This client engaged me because, well, his computer had been confiscated, and the computer was now going to be produced in the court on the relevant hearing. So I was briefed for the matter, so I went down. I was prepared all technical stuff, so the moment the court ordered the computer to be opened up, we said, okay sir, we want it to be booted and opened up and let's see what's the content. So when it was opened up in the court, I suddenly saw a folder on the desktop which said MATHS, maths. I said, hold on, what has got mathematics got to do here? So we clicked in there and found a couple of these class 12 mathematical problems for class 12 examinations. It so appeared that this inspector who had confiscated the computer thought that it will be value for his daughter who's sitting in class 12 to go and work on the computer. So the daughter worked for almost about 15-20 days over a math sums on the computer and consequently then came back. On that basis, the case was thrown out, that this entire evidence is not capable of any kind of authentic reliance. So there's a practical problem. We did a research to find out how much is the total number of cases being registered by corporate India. And I find an increasingly reluctance to report. We did a survey to find out how many cases actually are happening. And on the basis of the work that I did, I found that if 500 instances of cybercrime take place in India, only 50 tend to get reported. And out of 50, 1 tends to get registered as a cybercrime. So it's a 1:500 ratio, and I think these are conservative figures. I also believe that today when a client comes and sees me, my first brief today from the client is, we don't want to go to the police, we don't want to go to the court. Can you help us? These are the 3 questions in that order. So companies are reluctant to go to the police, companies are more reluctant to even go to court. But now I think slightly that hesitancy for going to court is now removing. So even in cybercrime cases, because the company doesn't want to register a cybercrime, we then try to convert them into civil offences or civil liabilities and can sue the respective stuffs.
Well, what is the main cause why companies don't want to go to court?
Lack of, first of all, they are aware that it might be picked by the media, so it's negative media publicity. Number two, they also believe that assuming they put all that effort, if the police doesn't know how to crack it, it's gone. Number three, they find tremendous opposition by the police to register. You see, it's not a corporate or a citizen-friendly approach by the law enforcement. Let a cybercrime happen right now in this room, and you try going to your local police station and try to get it registered. You will find that you will be up with all kinds of opposition, and that's but natural. It's a deficiency of the system. Why? In India, a police officer is not ranked or assessed on the basis based on the number of cases that he registers, but on the number of cases that he cracks. So the policeman believes that if he is going to register a cybercrime which he cannot crack, it's going to be a bone in his throat. It is neither going to come out nor it's going to go down, and then it's going to be an impediment to his further progress. Today in India, there's a mindset amongst law enforcement people: a posting to a cybercrime cell is a punishment posting. Why? Because if you don't have anything, you have been sent to a cybercrime cell. And despite all the fancy launches of the cybercrime cells in Bangalore or Pune or Delhi, well, the statistics are absolutely disappointing. In one particular year, 2003 or what was that, the Bangalore cybercrime cell registered about 50 cases. And out of 50 cases, in 38 cases, they gave a negative report to the court saying, "Sir, we don't have enough evidence to proceed forward in the case, so please drop the case." So in that kind of a scenario, we find that cyber criminals do have a tremendous edge as far as law enforcement is concerned. So the next time you're hacking, it's 3 years imprisonment, 2 lakh rupees fine. We've talked about obscenity. We now talk about something which is more critical, which has got to do with a protected system. The government has the discretion to dedicate a particular system as a protected system. And if your system is dedicated as a protected system, then mere access or trying to access a protected system gets you 10 years imprisonment and 1 lakh rupees fine. That's one category of problems. Another kind of cybercrime that are addressed by the Indian law is cybercrimes relating to digital signatures. We're all using digital signatures. If you misuse somebody's digital... Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, you are describing the scenario of Indian legal systems and all those. We have a lacuna there. But how are the things handled across the world? Actually, is there any good example where these crimes are being handled in very good manner?
Well, we've got some good examples. Primarily, the biggest ones that come to my mind are examples that exist in the United States, because they have a dedicated setup. Like, they have a centralized approach. Unfortunately, in India, law and order and police are state subjects. So consequently, each state to its own. There's no nationalized approach towards cybercrime. But in the US, you find that CBI has got a dedicated, there's the FBI has got a dedicated approach, a cell. People are given thorough training, and more importantly, it's dedicated officers who are put on stuff right from beginning till the end. Rather than here, somebody registers one cybercrime case, then gets transferred, somebody else new comes in. Nobody wants to carry somebody's unwanted babies. Another major problem is that India is also lagging behind in its vision and thought process. India still has not signed the only international initiative that's available on cybercrime regulation, that's known as the Convention on Cybercrime of the Council of Europe. It's one international treaty signed by 47 countries across the world, including the US, including Japan, including Canada, South Africa, but India has still not signed. If you sign on that treaty, then suddenly you're on the same platform as all those group of 47